Hi folks. In the last session, we discussed the formal letter. In today's session, we will be doing informal letters. Informal letters are just opposite to the formal letters, in terms of tone and usage. We will discuss about it in this video. By the time you are done with the video, you will be able to write a good informal letter. So, let's begin. An informal letter adds a personal touch to one's thoughts and ideas. This type of letter is very spontaneous in manner. An informal letter format is used when you write a chatty or newsy letter to a friend or relative. The tone of an informal letter is friendly and full of feelings. Therefore, these letters are also called social letters. An informal letter is a letter written to your friends or family members. You can even use contractions like your, she's, or his. All letters have to start with an informal salutation such as Dear Mom. An informal letter should end on an affectionate note such as yours lovingly, yours truly, or yours affectionately. An informal letter can be written for many purposes. For example, to ask about the well-being of a friend or relative, to share some good or bad news with them. It might be an invitation. It can also be a letter of congratulation or condolence. In old times, these were written to know about the world too, and also to make some friends, about whom the writer did not know. These friends never met each other and only used to have a conversation through letters. They were known as pen pals. This system had the assurance of security, though breaking social norms of age, caste, creed, gender, and class. There are various places where informal letters can be used. These letters are classified as under, based on specified usages to some extent. Invitation, friendly conversation, know-how letters, sorry or informal apology, informal acceptance, thanks letter, and letter of regret. There may be many more. Listed here are major types, which are mostly used. Though the informal letter does not have a specified format, but we generally follow the following, for the sake of ease. Sender's address, date, salutation, body of the letter, subscription, and signature in the same line of descent. The foremost thing to transcribe is your address, i.e. the address of the writer, fundamentally, the sender's address. We customarily write the address on the left-hand side of the page at the very top. The address should be accurate and complete. Even when writing to close friends or relatives, the address must be written, so they can reply back to the letter with ease. If the receiver of the letter is in another country, do not overlook to write your country as well in the address. Subsequent, just beneath the address we inscribe the date. This countenances the reader to have a reference as to when the informal letter was written. He can then relate better to the matters of the letter. The date, preferably, should be in extended form. Now, since you know the person you are writing to, the greeting can be informal as well. If it is a friend or someone close to your age, you can greet them by their first name, like Dear Alex. If you are writing to your relative like your mother, father, aunt, or uncle etc., you may greet them as such, for example, Dear Mom. And if you are writing to an elder person, someone you respect greatly, you can address them as Mr. or Mrs. like, say for example you were writing a congratulatory letter to your teacher, it can be addressed as Dear Mrs. Alex. The body of the letter in an informal letter has three parts. The first part is introductory paragraph. The introductory part sets the tenor for the complete letter. You might commence by asking the recipient about their well-being, or you may say that you hope the letter finds them in good health and great spirits. The opening of informal letters should be spontaneous and bolstering. It must not be official and unswerving as in business letters. The second part is where you come to the point that why you have written this letter. But it must be informal in tone. The letter overall should maintain a friendly tone. But you have to adjust the language and the wordings according to who you are writing to. With a friend, you can afford to be very casual and flippant even. But if you are writing to an elder relative, you must be extremely respectful and considerate. One way to determine the tonality of your letter is to remember how you talk to the person in a conversation, and then apply the same syntax and sentiments to the letter. The third part is the conclusion. In the conclusive paragraph, sum up the reason for writing the letter, i.e. summarize the letter. Say a meaningful and affectionate goodbye to the reader. And do not forget to invite the reader to write back or reply to your letter. It shows an intention to keep the conversation going. There is no one way to sign off informal letters. Since they do not follow a strict format, you may sign off as you please. Some commonly used phrases are, lots of love, best wishes, kind regards, kindly. Pick the one that best suits the occasion and then simply sign your name below the greeting. Let us now see the difference between formal and informal letter. What makes us classify them in two different categories? The formal letter is written for business or professional purposes with a specific objective in mind. It uses simple language, which is easy to read and interpret. On the contrary, informal letters are written to friends and relatives for personal communication and require a casual or an emotional tone. The size of a formal letter should be concise, that does not include irrelevant matter. In contrast, the informal letter can be lengthier. Formal letters are used for writing letters to business contacts, i.e. partners, suppliers, customers, clients, etc., college or institute, employer, professionals, etc. As against this, we write informal letters to friends, relatives, acquaintance, etc. Friends, writing is a fundamental part of English. We need to learn this skill so as to make us well furnished with the language. Writing, it may give the impression of being easy, is a rough task. To write bestowing to our boxes, is not so easy. We may deter from our track, and lose the emphasis. It spoils the content of our script, extinguishing our communication as well. In this session we deliberated informal letter. Though it is a short audio-visual, I contemplate I was able to elucidate each part of the letter. As they say, the more you do, the more you learn, the more you learn, the more doubts you have. Try doing it by yourself, there is no better educator than experience. We will soon meet with another theme of English. Till